Many different types of people have disabilities. Just because you have a disability does not mean that you should be treated any less than anyone else, and also does not mean that you shouldn't be aware of your rights and having those rights protected. Imagine if you or a family member or your own child one day was neglected and treated wrongfully or abused and didn't have their rights respected just because they had a disability. Hi, my name is Gabby Schneider, and today I'm going to be talking about the nonprofit organization Disability Rights South Carolina. Disability Rights South Carolina is, as I said, a nonprofit organization that has a large team of people helping to push and help disabled people advocate for themselves, as well as making sure that they're in the know of their own rights and being able to have those protected. They help disabled people with things such as housing, being able to transportation, the right education and not being neglected or abused in the education system. They help you apply for healthcare, Medicaid. They do the whole 9 yards. It's a great organization because it really helps and gives a bunch of resources and support groups for disabled people to go to and be able to know and be in the know, and which helps them to lead their own life. A great thing about Disability Rights South Carolina is that you can get involved and you can support them. So a way that you can get involved would be to request for Disability Rights South Carolina to participate in an event or training, and this would just help you to get involved and be able to advocate. And then there's self-advocacy training for disabled people so they know their rights and they are able to be protected and be in the know. Disability Rights South Carolina has many services that they offer to the disabled individual as well as their family. They have support groups and all the resources like I mentioned before, but they also provide a variety of services to include client assistance, training, abuse, and neglect investigation. And they also look over institutions and investigate those institutions that are there for disabled people to make sure that, no funny business is going on, that they are being honored and their rights are being respected, and that they're in the know just as much as anybody else. So their staff, Disability Rights South Carolina staff, travels across South Carolina, and they hold booths, they hold conferences, and just many outreach opportunities, which pushes and advocates for people to get involved and just know more about the organization, which is really beneficial and something you can even go to on their website. You can look up where they're traveling to or where they're holding a conference or holding a booth, and you can go by and pick up a pamphlet and look into it. And it's a great thing because it really just broadens the spectrum of who's in the know. And you don't have to have a personal connection to a disabled person, or maybe a family member or a friend and it's just something that you feel compelled to do. You feel like this is a great thing, and it is. It's a great organization because you never know. It could be you being disrespected or looked down upon or made feel less than that other human being that doesn't have a disability. So they also are working very hard to improve laws, regulations, policies, and practices that affect the rights of people with disabilities, because they have been neglected in the education system. They've been neglected in trying to vote or own a home. And someone with a disability does not mean that they are not able to lead and live their own life, which is the great thing about Disability Rights South. The whole point is to advocate for them as well as making sure that they can advocate for themselves. Just because you have a disability or someone with a disability does not mean that they're any less than you or I without a disability. Everyone is different in their own ways, and that's what makes us all beautiful. And it's just a great organization to be aware of and get involved in.